There's no one care about. Okay, let's do chaos. Let's do characters. And hey, look, it's Roby Girly Man and Peter Turbo. Let's do C for chaos. Category chaos characters. Here we go. Yeah, no planets. Bored. I sleep. Let's do the middle now. Who's Marduk? Oh, I think Malagris is the big one. Mephidast. I like Mephidast. Oh, he's beautiful. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Nurgle time.
Seely.
Ah, hello. Mephidast. Mephidast is the demon prince of Nurgle, also known as Mephidast the Plague Reaver. He proudly bears the title of Artisan of 1,000 Plagues and usually commands a powerful Chaos Warband composed of Plague Marines, Demons of Nurgle, and Chaos Cultists of the Plague God. Mephidast calls Jericho Reach home and is currently seeking a way to disrupt the operations of the advancing Imperial Achilles Crusade in the sector. Fabius Bile, he is fabulous. Look at him. He is a special specimen. Look at that face. Look, he's reading. He's very literate. He's clearly reading about wonderful things. The artist did a very good job of drawing his skin being slightly translucent. It makes me a little uncomfortable. Pain Custodes, the Custodes combat troll. That's so many. Yeah, he knows what the ladies. Yeah, look at it. You can just. What do I think he's reading? Well, there's a skull on it. And an eye. There's an eye behind a skull. So maybe he's reading about the Imperium. He's studying up his enemies. Either that or it's like he's pretending to be studying, but he's actually looking at a hentai. Like he's actually looking at like porn or something. Yeah, look, a cookbook. Yeah, he's looking at a cookbook. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, classic move. You just slide it in there. Nobody knows. The legends say the artisan of 1,000 plagues was born of mortal flesh many standard centuries ago on a human vessel seeking refuge from the calamitous eruptions engulfing the planet Varonis. Ominous flickerings in the Geller field heralded his birth aboard the fleeting void ship, but otherwise, Mephidast was a benign childhood spent amongst agrarian folk whose familial tribes settled among. As he grew, so did reports too foul to ignore of mutilated carcasses and blighted crops. He claimed to be practicing as a Medici, but these excuses were met with hostility, and after he poisoned a local gathering festival, he's finally locked away from the depths of primitive dungeon. I like how he had apparently a normal childhood and then was drinking the Papa Nurgle juice early on. I not only studied his herbology. Remember though, we've read that anything that this wiki says may not be the full truth. We learned that early on, that all of this information was brought by you know, different individuals, and you don't know whose story you can trust. So who knows? It could be lies. It could not be true, but maybe it's true. Give it back. That's mine. No. Saul didn't share his brother's Reddit. That's so stupid. It's so dumb, but it's funny. What a bean! He didn't share the relish. Kept it all to himself. Okay. It was there. Oh, wait. He was locked away in a dungeon. Okay, yeah, because he was poisoning people. That's no, naughty. Isn't he? Wait. So in 40k, do people usually get locked up instead of outright killed? Is it like you get locked up and then Inquisition comes or somebody comes? Maybe Inquisition's too high up to care about a random peasant or something. Depends on the planet. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because each planet can be pretty different, right? Okay, but it was in the dungeon that he found what he truly desired. An appreciative patron. Endless time passed as his soul stared inwards and grew as rancid as his cell. He had only himself to amuse and began to scrawl diagrams on the walls from his imagination, drawing on thoughts not totally his own. Shapes of unnatural angles. Oh, I hate those angles that are so unnatural. Ugh. Like a 90-degree angle. Oh my god. Runic glyphs of profane language were traced out in unclean liquids and filth around him. Ew, blood and bile and other substances. Whoa, I think we know what that is. Marking patterns that seemed just outside his comprehension. His body grew gaunt and tough as skin turned to leather, his hair falling away. Yeah, we saw a picture. He's very gross. I keep my ankles up too, thank you very much. All right. Over time, the influence of his corruptive nature rotted away the bars of his cell. Was nobody watching him? Oh, it must be like a style dungeon where they just toss him and then forget about him. I wonder how they get food, or maybe they weren't supposed to survive. Oh, this is such an appropriate song to play while I'm reading about this. Okay. The food shoot, yeah, just throw a loaf of bread down. He was free to contaminate and blight the land at will, and he said doing so gleefully. So he busted out of his dungeon because his aura was enough to rust the cell. That's bad body odor, basically. His body odor was so bad it destroyed the area around him. In a solar day, the first victims fell ill. In a solar week, the dead piled up in the streets. Local medici were unable to deal with the illness, and his patron was satisfied and made him more gifts so that he could carry Nurgle's blessings across the Jericho Reach. He renamed himself Mephidast the Plague Reaver after this first successful display of power, and left his now dead home planet. So he killed his entire planet? Wow. He probably played League of Legends to get that toxic. Oh, wow. So Mephidast had no need for conquest. Spreading the influence of Nurgle was his goal. He nurtured infestations of ravenous insects and created scores of plague zombies within huddled hive masses. He even lured a particularly critical Adeptus Ministorum preacher to his doom in a taunting ambush where his flesh was made unclean and rendered down into new blight grenades. What's a blight? Do I want to know what a blight grenade is? Oh my. I know. A blight grenade, also known as a death head of Nurgle, is a highly effective improvised grenade and biological and chemical weapon utilized by the Plague Marines, Chaos Sorcerers, and other devoted followers of Nurgle. Each is made from the decapitated head of a conquered enemy using the art of Death Guard Traitor Legion using an art the Death Guard Traitor Legion perfected long ago. Oh my god! Moisturize me. Cultivating these contagions into explosive devices designed to wound and infect over a large area. Blight grenades expose those who are injured by the corrupted pieces of plague-ridden shrapnel to the most deadly of toxins. These contain virulent toxins that eat away at armor and fill the air with thick clouds of binding pathogenic spores. So he basically, blah, 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 blah. I don't need to read more. My imagination took care of the rest for me. So he taunted this poor preacher to his doom and then basically cut his head off and made it into a grenade. Wow. Can you imagine how fucked up you could, what fucked up things you could do then? Be like, hey, hi, this is, remember this person? Hi, you liked them a lot. Look at their head now as a grenade. Disease. Psychological warfare is just as real as the actual damage. Poor guy. His followers grew into a massive chaos war host, and his goals became even more ambitious, now also striking out against any who would gainsay his patron god. It was his victory deep within the Hadex anomaly over an entire legion of cornate blood adepts. How good, the chaos people fighting amongst themselves. Their armor decaying away as their flesh weakened and muscles grew infirm. That saw his final evolution into demonhood. Aw, I got a promotion! It's gonna blow your minds, including his. The tide of decay fell across the enemy in an unstoppable wave, dissolving them to putrescent skeletal remains. He claimed the planet as his own. This victory was the deed for which the Plague Father granted his ascension. His body became bloated. His body became bloated with Nurgle's blessings. Oh my god, this bit. Surging in scale and power. Even the Plague Marines and his retinue fell to their knees in worship of the newest avatar of their god and master. Now immortal, Mephidast focused on the plans that might take solar decades to unfold, each act growing more intricate and subtle but still worth wondrously noxious effects. He has grand plans for the Jericho Reach, and the Achilles Crusade has begun to interfere with them. He is clever and patient, but his temperament is growing shorter as the time spent quenching this invasion by the servants of the Corpse Emperor reduces the time for him to achieve his true goals. This is surprisingly like, okay, not to bash the Imperium stuff, because I know the Imperium has a lot of like their high Gothic vocabulary and stuff, but this was one of the better written Wikipedia or wiki articles. I've learned what a blight grenade is, and I don't like it. Let us be clear. I now know what a blight grenade is, and I don't feel enriched. I feel sort of grossed out. And then the whole description of Nurgle's blessing bloating his body. No, Papa Nurgle, no. Bloat me, Daddy. No!
Fish on me, there's a fish on you. A fish in the tube, so let's eat fish stew. Fishy take my mane, fishy slurp my tea. Fishy jump in frame, and fishy